Hello everyone, this is Dr. Vikrant. I am making an audio version of my first blog, What Social Skills That Every Medical Student Must Know But Are Not Taught in Medical College. We all know social skills are particularly important in medical profession where emotions are extremely high and we must deal with patients and their relatives' emotion in highly volatile situations. Among students, we notice a significant variance of social aptitude. So I personally feel there should be a curriculum for imparting social skills among medical community. But medical colleges are known for meticulous and rigid practices and any deviation from them will not be entertained by senior faculty. So vital skills like social aptitude are not taught. In fact, many senior practitioners also lack these skills. So I compiled a list of practices that I follow based on my experience which got me in good terms with my patients. First and most important thing is give them a bright smile. Everyone likes a pleasant doctor, but not a long faced and a strict one. Besides, a smile is contagious. It will impart a friendly environment around you and make you more likable. But keep in mind that plastering a big smile always will make you look comical. So, when should we smile? Just as we look at the patient's face, have a fraction of second delay and then start smiling. This conveys that the smile is not for everyone, the smile is exclusively for you. So, how much should we smile? Too little and the smile goes unnoticed, and too big, the smile looks weird. Strike a balance so that your teeth are just visible but not too much. I personally use my canine teeth as landmark for how wide my smile should be. Do practice looking at mirror and find what is best for you. Because of the use of face masks, our smile may not be visible. So try narrowing your eyes as if you looked at a bright light. The contraction of the orbicularis muscle replicates the emotion of a genuine smile. Remember personal details. Nothing makes your patient feel special than you remembering their personal details. So, what is a personal detail that you can remember of a patient? Please don't tell diagnosis. Many of the medicos communicate using a patient's diagnosis to establish their identity. For example, send INR for atrial fibrillation patient and it makes them feel objectified. You can start by using patient's name. It is unique to them and makes them feel special. As your rapport builds, you can inquire more details like remembering their village, inquire about their job, children, and so on. Pro tip, write small cues about their personal details at the end of the case sheet where you can quickly refer before going for rounds. The next important thing is be a good listener. I heard a quote that says most people do not listen with the intent to understand, they hear with the intent to reply. The best skill a doctor can have is listening. Most of the time, we just hear what the patient says, not trying to understand what they're really conveying. We also tend to look at what they say in a unidimensional way only from the medical perspective and tend to miss out on the hidden context. This is what differentiates listening from hearing. Listening is an active process in which we understand subtle, untold things the speaker wants to convey. For example, if an old lady says she is living alone at her house and her kids rarely call her, which indirectly translates to I just want someone to talk to me. If still active listening is not your cup of tea, just hear what they are saying, maintaining eye contact. When you have spent enough time and want to end the conversation, break the eye contact, turn away from the speaker. Most of them will understand the cue. The healing touch. There has been a shift in medical practice from a clinical approach to an evidence based approach. This shift has caused physical examination to take a backseat. We rationalize why spend 20 minutes auscultating the heart when you are going to order an echo anyway. This led to the creation of an imaginary barrier between patients and doctors. And in this COVID era, the barrier grew larger. However irrelevant the physical examination may be, the patients still expect it. They need a comforting touch during times of pain, a gentle tap on their shoulders, or at least holding hand during blood pressure examination would be enough. I personally witnessed many of my mother's patients, who is a gynecology and obstetrician, constantly tell her that her hand is magical. Once you touch us, we feel better instantly. Once this pandemic crisis passes, readopting small practices of physical examination establish a better connection with your patients. Do not tell the patients they are wrong. In our career, we come across lots of patients with psychosomatic disorders, and from our perspective, there is nothing wrong with them. But looking at from their perspective, there is something terribly wrong, and because of that, they are suffering. The worst thing we can do is antagonize their emotions and telling, everything is in your brain, you're just acting, go visit a psychiatrist. Refrain from using such phrases. It will cause them to doctor shop and leave a bad taste with you. Put it to them in a much palatable way by using phrases like, sorry, I could not find anything wrong with you. Maybe I can refer you to my friend who is better equipped to handle such cases. The same applies for the use of homeopathy, Ayurveda, or any other alternative forms of medicine. Please do not antagonize their beliefs and convey to them, I personally don't believe the use of alternative medication, but if you truly believe, you can use them. They will have nothing but praises for your compassionate nature, and what is better than a good word of mouth publicity? And finally, step into their shoes. Last but the most important of all, even if you do not follow the above mentioned steps, this one single step will take you far. Treat them how you want to be treated. This makes me remember an incident from my UG days, where I saw my junior examining a patient without his consent, and the patient is clearly in distress because of it. At one point, the patient told, enough. Instead of complying to his wishes, the young medico said, this is a government hospital. You can't deny me from examining you. At this point, I realized how socially handicapped and entitled we have become. Is this how I want to be treated? No, not in a million years. So please step into their shoes, respect their privacy, their customs, religion, and beliefs. All the above said statements are like quick fixes. In medical terminology, are like symptomatic treatment instead of addressing the root cause. Nothing can replace true, genuine compassion for patients. You may be busy, you may not even be having time to eat, but if the time permits, be in the present moment and try to truly connect to them. Do not expect anything in return besides what is more rewarding than true human compassion and bonding.